Okay, this is the business process training video. The business process, I think it's this one. Again, you watched my initial video. Here I am rambling about it, but the idea is I wasn't going to ramble. But in any case, this is what I was talking about there. This is a workflow that I created really early on. I've added a couple comments and changed a couple things. But I wanted to go through, make it on a video so that everyone's on the same page. So without any more rambling, I'll get to it. So basically, just to give you an overview of how the sheet's laid out, here's where the project starts, here's where it ends, right? And then this is everything that happens in between. I guess I'll try to not move this around too much and just kind of use my mouse. Hopefully you can see it okay. But I just want to make sure that everyone's on the same page of an overview, especially I'll probably have to number this one to watch before the job description video so that you guys have an idea of what the whole overview is, so that the job description video actually makes a lot more sense. So basically, obviously we started nothing. The start is going to be marketing or networking, which that kind of just happens naturally, of course. As you network, anyone can network, the development consultant, the sales guy, or whomever. Oh, and another thing I should mention. So this is the sales box. So everything in this column is everything the sales consultant would do. This is the general management or VP section. So this is everything that position would do. The workflow, quote unquote, is everything the development consultants would do. And then billing is not only billing, but it's billing and payroll and taxes and anything that has to do with that kind of stuff. So that's kind of how it's split up, kind of just in 4 large categories. Obviously, we cut that up in a billion different categories, but we have it cut up in 4. And then this is just kind of, going this direction, down, up and down. It's just kind of timeline, as the project moves. So marketing, networking, anyone can network. I have it in the sales column because that's their major gig to generate work. I'm going to be more specific in another video, but I'm actually going to change that a little bit. I was trying to do free marketing where the sales guy sent out emails and this kind of thing. But I, after kind of getting into this Fiverr, where you can hire people, outsource cheap labor in other countries, there's actually, you can get really good deals on other people completely managing the Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram accounts. And so, and I think in our case, the sales consultant would literally just manage the Fiverr people, and just make sure that they're doing everything the way we want it to be done, but they won't actually be doing the work because it's very time consuming, but it's also very cheap to hire them. So in the marketing, I'll go over that in the job description more. But basically jobs will be marketed. You get that. There'll be a weekly meeting to review plans, upcoming, current, everything that's going on in sales. So this meeting will kind of talk about, it'll be held. So this arrow is going over to the general management meeting coordination section. So general management or the VP or whomever, in this case me, would have a meeting directly with, in this case, Damien, about, what are we doing in marketing? How's the Fiverr guys doing? What should we change? What should we do different to get more work? Things like the sales videos and different stuff. Like, we'll talk about all of that stuff, and Damien would go out and do it as a non-project, hourly rate type gig. We'll determine in that meeting the best path forward for marketing, and general management would review those plans and approve. And then we'll market it by, and I put question mark means because there's going to be all kinds of different means, but it will be marketed in any case. There'll be lead management happen by them. So basically, as leads come in, the sales guy would follow up on the lead. So if someone made an inquiry or what have you, they would, of course, follow up via phone call, email, or whatever. And then once the follow-up's done and someone actually says, okay, I want you to do a job, then I want to develop a process for each type of project. So like, for example, if the person says, I want to have a due diligence report done, we'll have basically not a flyer, but basically kind of a worksheet of an overview of how our process goes. So it'll say something like, here's what to expect. In fact, I think I might have even drafted, just so you guys can have an idea of what I'm talking about. I think I even drafted something at some point. Agenda, references, meetings. No. Maybe it's in here. Sales contract, what I like to do. Maybe I didn't draft anything. But in any case, set out process. So basically they'll just send out something and it'll be essentially here's what to expect when you're requesting this kind of job. You're going to give us a down payment then. We're going to have you sign out final acceptance at the end. We're going to give you weekly updates. We're going to bill you weekly. We're going to, it'll just kind of explain all that so that there's for one, it'll cut time for Damien having to explain all this stuff every single time. You can just email over a sheet and say, here's the explanation of everything that's going to happen and what you should expect. So at that point, as soon as we receive requests, we send that to them so that they understand what's going on. And then at that point, once we know what they want, we'll request a online review meeting with the client to understand the requirements. So unless it's something like a due diligence report or an existing condition report that is very straightforward, and the price is the same no matter what, and the work's the same no matter what, there won't be as much of that. But if it's a lot line adjustment or a development report or something, Damien would set up a online meeting with the person and get on Google Maps and look at the property from an aerial view and ask them how they want to change their lot line or how they're expecting to divide the parcels. In some cases, he might invite the development consultant to that meeting. But basically, it would be to better understand what our scope is and make sure we're on the same page of scope, because we had an issue with that already on one job because we didn't do that. So that'll be a common every time practice. He'll draft the estimate. He'll send it to me. I'll review it. He'll revise if needed, and we'll go back and forth as many times as it needs to. And then once it's done, he'll send it to the client. That's the estimate. There may be some negotiation of the estimate. He'll negotiate it, and then develop the contract for review. So once the estimate part of it is done, he'll get the contract set up, send the contract to me for review. I'll send it back to him. He'll revise accordingly, and then he'll send it to the client for a signature. If at that point they decide not to sign, decide not to do the job, it's a bid decline. He'll develop a project notification and send it out for closeout. So that will be sent to the billing department. So it'll be sent to the services email. And what they'll do is they will, all the way down here in this red arrow, they'll receive a completed job, or in this place a closed job, balance it out in all the books, close it out, and then send the closeout information to the client. Or since it's since it's just canceled, then it'll just cancel out when the job's done. If they sign, there's the project notification form, which I'll show you in another video. But Damien would fill that out with everything he knows about the job. He will send out the project notification to the development consultant that it's going to, and myself. I'll receive the new project notification. Oh, yeah, that's right. He'll send it to me directly. He'll say, here's a new job I just got signed. He'll send it to me. I'll coordinate a meeting between him, me, and the development consultant that it's going to. He'll attend the handoff meeting. The development consultant will attend the handoff meeting. I'll attend the handoff meeting, and we'll all get on the same page, review the project notification form and all the requirements, make sure everything's on the same page, and then the development consultant takes it from there. At this point, the VP or general management will set up new project files in all of the forms, which we'll go over later. and notify billing that there's a new project. Okay, and then at that point, obviously, he's got a job. Now it's signed on the books. He's a salesman, and he starts getting the commission for that project. And then he goes back up, and he does it again. Obviously, he's doing all this stuff simultaneously. Okay, so now that we've got a project, what happens? Goes the workflow. So we start working. And I should mention all this stuff because it's easy, but general management, literally isn't just going to, go to meetings and review, but any strategic planning, review monthly income, perform quarterly reviews on all personnel, continually review for QA, QC, which is quality assurance, quality control issues. Just make sure if there's anything that needs to change, continually develop ways to improve the company. So just look for how can we do things better, faster, more efficient, yada, 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 stuff like that. And then pay, and then while we're reviewing income, these guys pay the bills monthly and payroll and balance books and stuff, and we'll get into that in another video. Okay, so it comes to workflow, and this is just, again, giving you an overview of everything that happens with the project. Workflow gets it. They receive a new project. They've done the handoff meeting. They review the project, do maybe a little bit more due diligence to make sure they understand it, and then make an initial contact with the client and confirm the project specifications. So the initial contact can never be via email. I think that jobs go much better when people feel like they personally know you. So that always has to happen via phone call. Even if it's a short phone call, introducing yourself, saying, hey, I'm the development consultant. I understand this is what you want to do. Is that right? Here's what I'm going to do to start. Here's what I'm going to do to start, and what I'm going to do moving forward. And maybe I'll send you an email and kind of lay that out again, and then I'll stay in touch weekly. Or whenever you need me, give me a call, blah, blah, blah. But get to know them, and then call them every once in a while. And just keep getting to know them so they feel like you're not just a guy at the other end of the email, that you're someone they can actually talk to. If it's certain projects, you'll want to set up a site meeting and walk it with them. And that's perfectly fine. We'll put that on the bill and no big deal. And then I went very vague because we get into a million things here, but you'll start working the project. You'll update the client on a predetermined timeline. We want to do weekly. Sometimes maybe they say, can you do bi-weekly or monthly? Never daily, but bi-weekly or monthly we get along with. We'll just have to note that. And then you'll work with billing on hours worked. So that's something we'll go over, of course. And then you'll update the workflow during the project and meet with the general management weekly. Which then we'll get into that in another video. So you'll do meetings weekly. Once the project's done, you'll kind of compile everything and have the general management review, or if you get to some kind of milestone, you'll have me review it, revise it accordingly, and then once the job's done, client satisfied, you'll send a final acceptance out for signature, get it signed, gather all the documents, have me review it, and then we'll send it to the closeout team, and they'll balance the books, close everything out, and that'll be a wrap. And then these people in billing will be preparing the taxes, obviously, throughout the year. They'll be balancing books, payroll. I put weekly there, but bi-weekly. We'll be billing weekly and doing payroll bi-weekly. The idea is to give them enough time to make payments, have it go through the system so that payroll can actually be put out. Paying bills monthly, sending out the weekly bills to all the active projects, receiving payments for bills, updating the billing workflow accordingly, and then receiving projects and closing it out is kind of in a nutshell. So that's how I intend kind of the business to run and operate.